You're watching our review of the 2013 Emirates Singapore Derby from the Singapore Turf Club. They're on their way to the barriers. They're beginning to load up for the great race. So there's El Milagro coming up to the gates. Danny Beasley taking the ride for Shane Birchiger. So we've got more than half the field loaded. We wait for the second half to come into the gates now. Wild Geese, Manuel Nunez has gone up to gate number one. One Ra a little bit fidgety, drawn in 5. Greenstone was the first to load. City Lad, Razir of Sydney coming up. So Meshmaker out of the lineup along with Feisty Leo. We wait on Good Pack and also Musketeer to come into the gates. And also the Great Grey, who's still riderless behind the gates. And we've got a flag. Stand by. We're getting some word here, but it's not looking good potentially for the Great Grey. And it looks like he's going to come out. So he will be a late scratching the Great Grey. Stand by. Hello. Okay, thank you. Getting official word, the Great Grey. So he's had no luck at his last 2 or 3 starts, but none of his luck has been as bad as this. That's tragic for Connections. The Great Grey, a late scratching in the Derby. Last couple to come up. Trapeus is drawn out wide, and Musketeer to come into the gates also. So we're just about ready for a start. They're almost set. The Great Grey, a late scratching from the Derby. They're ready, racing in the Emirates Singapore Derby for 2013, and El Milagro began well. So too Wild Geese, and Good Pack from out wide is going forward. Greenstone a little bit keen in the early stages. Better Life began well. She's right up on the speed in the early part. Musketeer is caught out wide going forward as they leave the straight from Razir of Sydney. Out very deep is Darien Gap, followed by Lord Brompton, squeezed up. Cash Luck made some ground. Then One Ra, Meshmaker over on the inside, getting tight for room with Feisty Leo, followed by City Lad, and Trapeus went back to the rear. So the race up the side, and Good Pack's going to take over and lead over Musketeer, working around the outside to second. El Milagro third on the fence from Greenstone with cover. Over on the inside next of all then is Better Life, 3 back on the rails ahead of Razir of Sydney and Darien Gap, who's had trouble getting in. Wild Geese was next from Cash Luck, then came Lord Brompton 3 wide. A length and 3/4 to Meshmaker, One Ra, then Trapeus down on the inside of Feisty Leo, and City Lad doing it tough out 3 wide at the rear. Halfway, 1,000 metres to go. Front runner Good Pack for David Flores shows the way by 2 lengths. In second position is Musketeer as they come off the back. They were followed by El Milagro, then Greenstone. Better Life needs a little bit of room over on the fence. Next of all is Razir of Sydney, Darien Gap, Wild Geese. Then came Cash Luck trying to work into the clear. Lord Brompton outside of it from Meshmaker. Then City Lad, One Ra, Trapeus, and last of all is Feisty Leo. Top of the straight they come, and Good Pack has led throughout as they go inside the 500. Cash Luck is coming up on the outside is Musketeer to come after him. They were followed by El Milagro. Better Life looking for room between horses, beginning to sprint home very quickly. Inside 300 metres to go, and Good Pack joined by Better Life. Here's Wild Geese out in the middle. Razir of Sydney begins to run on. Better Life reaches the lead in the Derby. Wild Geese going to it on the outside. Better Life a better neck in front. She might be too strong at the end of the 2000. She's too strong and she's too good. She draws away. Better Life takes the Emirates Singapore Derby from Wild Geese. A gap off to maybe Trapeus from Razir of Sydney. Then Cash Luck, Lord Brompton. In behind the Musketeer, followed by El Milagro. Next across the line was City Lad. Then came Good Pack, who led them but faded. Next in was One Ra with a Meshmaker. Well back out of places. They've gone across the line. Greenstone and then Feisty Leo with the tail enders. And one out wider, Darien Gap. Better Life, well, she's been tested inside the furlong by Wild Geese, but she is an outstanding galloper. And although she got a beautiful run in transit, it just looked like the swoopers down the outside were finishing on well enough to really test her. But she's been asked the question here today, and she has responded in grand fashion with an emphatic win in the Emirates Singapore Derby to go along with her win in the QE2 Cup and also the Longines Singapore Gold Cup. So as a 4-year-old, she's almost done everything. 2:01.12 is the time. 2:01.12, 15.9 and a photo. 15.9 and a photo after the Emirates Singapore Derby for 2013. So an outstanding performance here, given a beautiful ride by Alan Munro. She just needed the split at the top of the straight. It came, tackled by Wild Geese. But she's fought off the challenger Wild Geese and has got the result. So The wins just keep on coming for this magnificent mare as we head down to Matt Jones. 15.9 in the photo. We'll have the third and fourth numbers up for you very soon.
Terrific race. Third went the way of Trapeus and Razia at Sydney fourth. So Friedman trained third and fourth there. They were in a photo finish for third. But Better Life, she went in favourite and she didn't let anyone down. She had to overcome just a few nervous moments on the final turn, but she got out and she was too strong. Wild Geese came at her, but in the end, her class shone out. So a length and a quarter by 2.5. Some of the beaten jockeys returning. But it was the result everyone was forecasting and predicting, and it's the way it's turned out with Better Life taking out the Derby. Terrific run from Wild Geese. As the winner returns, Better Life. Manuel Nunes was on Wild Geese. He must have thought for a fleeting moment that he might get past the mare. Did you ever think you might win that, Manuel?
Yes, for sure. When I put beside her, I said, well, I think we'll go from here, but she's too good. She come back inside and beat me.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Second, not bad there, and certainly gave Connections a huge sight. As Munro comes back, horse that's been such a pivotal part of his career late on, coming to Singapore and being able to win 2 feature races here. And whilst we've seen some of the other horses get their wins earlier on, the Step It Ups, the Super Easies of the world, she's now paving the way for a very successful 2013, adding the Derby to the QE2 Cup.
Absolutely, Matt. And I think one thing we really need to mention too, what a terrific training performance by Hideyuki Takioka. Great stuff there from him to get this horse to win.
Third was Trapeus. Not a great run from this horse last time out, but he seemed to go very well. Rider Greg Sheen, nice performance.
Yeah, very big performance. You know, he came here with big reps and he won accordingly on his second start. As you say, last time things didn't seem to pan out well for him. Changed some equipment and I was just fortunate to pick up the ride on him. Things didn't work out when the barriers came out, and we discussed it earlier in the week. Only one way to ride him for luck, because he does tend to want to hang out. We've got 2 turns to go around, but all panned out well and he hit the line well.
Well done.
Thank you.
So much better performance there from Trapeus, but here she is just for a moment, and we heard from Manuel Nunes, who thought he might win the race with Wild Geese, but obviously Better Life, her class shone through.
And I just spoke to Steve Barrage just after I interviewed Hideyuki Takioka, and he basically said that at the 200, like Nunes, he thought that he had Wild Geese. He thought the Wild Geese was going to win as well. Just, I guess he didn't stay the last little bit, but it was still a terrific performance. But you can't take anything away from this mare. She's been terrific. She had everything to really prove here, didn't she? Because it was a big effort to come from an international cup, 2 months break, no trials or anything like that, and yet win the way she did too. And there are a few nervous moments, but that's horse racing.
Yeah, we never wanted them to rue the decision to go in the International Cup. So the fact that they've got their Derby win after all, it's been done perfectly, really. She's won the Derby and she got her chance in the International Cup, which all Singapore racing fans wanted to see. Well, he did take a spot on the fence. He was behind El Milagro back in 5th, and there were some nervous moments, certainly at the top of the straight, but when Wild Geese came, that was probably a tense moment there for Alan, but she really dug in, and I'm not sure what her fitness was it 95, 97? It doesn't matter in the end, but she was fit enough to pull away and win by a length and a quarter.
We'd be more questioning her fitness if she didn't win though, Matt, but the fact that she's got the job done, who cares how fit she is? She's been able to get the job done. There she is on the inside as we have a look at trackers from Wild Geese, who went up, put us together. There were probably 3 nervous moments in the race, really. Coming to the turn, we wondered whether she'd be able to get away from the rails. The answer to that question was answered once she got through in between a couple of runners. The run really opened for her once they straightened up, and then when Wild Geese came at her, that was the next nervous moment. But she's just proven everyone that she's a top quality mare, arguably, Matt, now the best horse in Singapore too.
Yeah, Trapeus right in the mix there for third. Edward Sadler with a winning trainer. He's a master, Hideyuki Takioka.
Hideyuki, what a great horse.
What can I say? What great horse. It's actually very, very good mare. Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah.
And she was going well coming into the race, but a big effort to come from the International Cup to here 2 months later.
Yeah, we've done everything well. It's from SI Cup. It's during the 2 months. It's about it's a feeling. I don't want the first to cross the Derby. Yeah.
Must be very happy.
Yeah, very, very happy. It's also the jockey run ride today. Very good ride.
Hideyuki, congratulations. Well done on winning the Derby this year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
She's turning out to be a very popular horse. Alan Munro's heading over our way. I'm sure great relief here for Alan. He was basically declaring this horse before the Gold Cup. He did the public a great service by doing the same here again. The punters love this mare, and she's gone off relatively short today, but she deserves to, given her status over the staying trips here in Singapore. Alan Munro jumps on the scales. It's an Emirates cap as well. And we'll check out on the emotions of Alan. How did that all go, Alan? The race that she was born to win, really, and she's done the job in the end, so well done.
Yeah, huge relief, you know, and the race went well. I had a tense moment around the 600 because I was going to sit one deep, but Forster pushed me on the rail, and it was fine to follow El Milagro. I was quite happy with that. And I just want to go around him, but then Forster was dying, wouldn't get out of my way, so I've had to commit and go inside. And I was lucky because El Milagro rolled off a bit, and the tense moment came when he just rolled back on, and she just had to swap leads to adjust. Then he went out again, and she cleared them. And then I was all right, I got a good split. And, you know, she got there, and she did that a little bit. But when I hit her, she went, you know, so she's the best horse in the race. She clearly should have won.
When Wild Geese came at you, were you wondering what her level of fitness was, what her response was going to be?
Yeah, I could hear Manuel shouting. He shouts a lot, though, you know, that guy. And, but, you know, it was a threat, and we had to fight. You know, I thought we'd have to fight. You know, she wasn't really 100%, but she was good enough with her class.
Well done, Alan.
Thank you.
Presentation time after the running of the Emirates Singapore Derby of 2013, won brilliantly by the mighty mare Better Life. And we welcome to the prize presentation area for the 18th Emirates Singapore Derby, sponsored by Emirates. We welcome on stage from Singapore Turf Club, Chairman Mr Tan Guang Ching, and Honorary Treasurer Mr Ian McDonald, and from Emirates, Mr Nick Rees, Area Manager of Singapore and also Brunei. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Mr Nick Rees to say a few words on behalf of Emirates.
Chairman, committee members and executive management of the Singapore Turf Club, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening. On behalf of Emirates, I would like to thank you for joining us today for the running of the 18th Emirates Singapore Derby. We hope you've all had a truly enjoyable day. In partnership with the Singapore Turf Club, we have seen this annual event grow into one of Singapore's premium sporting and lifestyle events. We thank our friends at the Turf Club for their strong support in making this happen again today. The last 12 months have been very exciting times for Emirates, both globally and particularly here in Singapore. In December, we introduced our flagship A380 services between Singapore and Dubai. In April, we started our new partnership with Qantas, offering many new opportunities for our customers here in Singapore and around the world. Just last month, our continued effort to provide the very best service was recognized by the Airline of the Year award from Skytrax. Remembering the less fortunate here in Singapore has become an important part of the Emirates Singapore Derby. I'm delighted to announce that this year we have raised $68,000 for 4 voluntary welfare organisations under the umbrella of the Community Chest of Singapore. We would like to thank all of those who've donated to that effort. Finally, and most importantly, on behalf of Emirates, I would like to congratulate owners Mr. Kazimoto and Mrs. Kazimoto, trainer Hideyuki Takaoka, and jockey Alan Munro of the winning horse Better Life on their great victory today. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you again next year. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr Nick Rees, and thank you also to Emirates. And now Mr Rees will present the trophies for the Emirates Singapore Derby, of course won brilliantly by the mare Better Life, and she's raced by Suzuka Racing Stable. And to receive the winning Derby trophy, please make welcome up on stage Mr Katsumoto. Well done to Mr Katsumoto and Suzuka Racing Stable with this terrific mare, and he receives the trophy for winning the Emirates Singapore Derby. Now there's more prizes on offer here. A crystal A380 model plane from Emirates, and to receive that trophy, welcome up on stage co-owner Mrs Katsumoto. What a terrific mare she's turning out to be, adding the Derby to her Gold Cup in 2012, Derby of 2013, and a return business class ticket to Dubai as well, courtesy of Emirates. So plenty of prizes there for the connections of Better Life. And today she takes out another feature, adding the Derby to her impressive, ever-growing resume. Well done. The winning trainer, very much a Japanese feel, Hideyuki Takeoka. Marvellous training performance to prepare her after running down the field in the International Cup just a couple of months ago. The mare hasn't been sighted since, but she wins the Derby today, the race that really she was always going to win, but he had to do the business, and he did. Hideyuki Takeoka, and he will also receive a Crystal A380 model plane from Emirates and a return business class ticket to Dubai, courtesy of Emirates. Well done to Takeoka. And the winning jockey had a terrific run with this mare, Alan Munro. Ever popular Alan, veteran rider, and he's having a marvellous run here in Singapore. He's had a couple of seasons here in Singapore, but this mare, I'm sure when it's all done and dusted in his career, he'll look back on Better Life very fondly as the mare late in his riding career that really topped things off brilliantly for him. And he also receives an A380 model crystal plane and a return business class ticket to Dubai. It's now my pleasure to invite Mr. Nick Rees to present a token of appreciation from Emirates to the Singapore Turf Club. Terrific sponsors, they are Emirates. Thanks to Nick Rees and all concerned there with Emirates. Of course, also Mr. Raymond Tan having a lot to do with the Singapore Turf Club from Emirates. And I'd now like to invite Mr. Tang Wong Ching, the chairman of Singapore Turf Club, to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Nick Rees for Emirates sponsorship of the 18th Emirates Singapore Derby. I'd like to invite everyone now for a group photograph, but a special day, a feature race won by the favourite. It was Better Life. Well done to Emirates, well done to Alan Munro, Takeoka, and all the team, Suzuka Racing Stable, connected with terrific mare, Better Life.
Better Life again proved herself to be the best of her age group and added the Emirates Singapore Derby to an imposing resume. Shortly after the race, it was announced that Better Life would be retired from racing and sent to Australia to hopefully produce many more Group 1 winners. Thanks for joining us and our review of the 2013 Emirates Singapore Derby.